Welcome. Well, there's still some people joining, but I think we're going to get started because we don't have that much time today. So good morning, everyone. You're very welcome to our LinkedIn Premium session for Open Doors and Pathways to Progress participants. This is going to be a short session just to make sure that you make the most out of your free premium license. After the session, we're going to send you a link to activate that premium license, and then you can just get in touch if you have any questions, and we're happy to support you. Just before we get started, we need to do a little bit of housekeeping. So just so everyone knows, the session is being recorded, and that's just so that those who couldn't make it today can watch it at another time. If you don't want to be on the recording, that's fine. Just turn off your camera. And if you want to ask a question at the end and don't want it recorded, don't worry, because we're going to remove the questions from the recording. Mics are disabled for this session. You can use the chat and the Q&A functions if you have any questions or comments. And if you want to use your mic to ask a question, just let us know on the chat and we can turn it on for you. And we do have closed captions turned on for the meeting. So if you want to use it, you can go on the top menu there. You see there's 3 dots with the word more. If you click on it, there's language and speech, and then you can turn on live captions. And then the captions are going to start showing up at the bottom, probably in English, because that's the default. But then there's 3 dots next to the captions at the bottom as well. So if you click on that, you're able to change the caption from English to Ukrainian, Portuguese, Spanish, French, a bunch of different languages. So that should be helpful as well. So I think that's it from me. Got it all done in 2 minutes. That was the goal. So I'll hand it over to you, Ray.
Perfect. Thank you. And nice to see everyone on the call today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Ray Samaskit, and I'm a customer success manager at LinkedIn. And I partner closely with Toledo and Open Doors Initiative to make sure that all of you are aware of how to best use LinkedIn at your disposal. So for today, what we're going to walk through is how you can leverage the LinkedIn Premium. As part of the partnership that we have between Open Doors and LinkedIn, we give out free premium licenses to all of you who are part of the program. And I have slides that I'm going to walk through, and then at the end, I'll quickly hop into my own LinkedIn Premium just to kind of highlight some of the things that I spoke about within the slides. But if there are any questions, like Talita said, please throw them in the chat. If we don't get to them in this session, we'll make sure to look at the questions afterwards and send over anything that doesn't get answered in the follow-up. That sound good to everyone? So thumbs up? Perfect. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This is always the toughest part of any type of presentation. Can everyone see my screen? Perfect. So what we are going to walk through are just the perks of the LinkedIn Premium license. And we're going to talk about and dig a little bit into what the upgrades includes. And a few of the high-level things is that it's going to give you in-mail messages that will help you build your network. You're going to be given the ability to see who's viewed your profile. Along with that, you're going to be able to see get advanced job recommendations. You'll also get some competitive insights to help you with your job search. In some areas, you are going to be able to see salary insights to understand what others are being paid for these types of roles. And then lastly, you also get access to LinkedIn Learning to help build skills on demand. So we also have another part of our business where we have on-demand learning. Some of you already are familiar with it, but as part of the premium license, you get access to this as well. So to take it back a step, the first thing that you're going to want to do is once you get LinkedIn Premium, you're going to want to see where to access it. And just so you know, the LinkedIn's always updating its interface, so these slides aren't exactly how the LinkedIn interface looks. However, the walkthrough of how to get to it is the same. So if you go to your LinkedIn and you see it a little bit different, it's just because we're constantly changing our interface. However, everything on these slides is very well and true. It's just it might look a smidge different. So just that warning. And I'll highlight that when we go into the actual demo. But for once you get access to your LinkedIn Premium, the way that you can first check if you have it, and then access the benefits is if you hover over the Me icon in your main LinkedIn page, you'll be able to see this Access My Premium section. And once you click into it, it will then take you to all of the different benefits that your LinkedIn Premium has to offer. So what you'll be able to get is if you go to my premium section, you'll see some quick insights around who's viewed your profile, or also some jobs where you're a top applicant. So this is where you're going to kind of understand, okay, great, these are the benefits that I have. Also, immediately, you're going to get some personalized insights based off of what we're seeing on your LinkedIn profile. And this is just, and on that note too, I think it's important to plug that once you get LinkedIn Premium, if you haven't updated your LinkedIn profile, I highly encourage you to, because what we're doing when we're giving these personalized insights is we're also taking a look at what you have put on your LinkedIn profile. So, for example, I'm a customer success manager, and if I have a well built out customer success manager profile, or if I talk about my role within my LinkedIn profile, I'm going to probably get even better insights or jobs where I'm a top applicant because I have a well built out profile. So again, once you get this access, if you haven't updated your profile, highly recommend you to. And I know that Talita has resources that she can share as well with the team around how to do this. The next part is that you're going to be given in-mail messages to help build your network. So you get 5 in-mails per month where you can message a member that you're not connected with. So this will allow for you to, if there's maybe a recruiter that you want to get in touch with, or if there's someone that you want to have a connection to learn more about the type of business opportunity, you now have that ability to message them and not necessarily need to connect with them. And this is just another perk of the premium license, because usually what happens is that if you are not connected to a member on LinkedIn and they haven't accepted your connection request, you can't send them a message. But with the premium license, with those 5 in-mail messages per month, it will allow for you to send a message to them and they'll see that message as well. The next and the most fun piece is you can see who's viewed your profile. So this is where you can kind of understand all of your profile, who's all the individuals that have viewed your profile. Also, if there's been any interesting views, so people that might not have viewed before. Again, I think that with profile views, it's always interesting to see who is looking at your profile. And sometimes it could be a recruiter who might have checked out your profile. And if that recruiter checked out your profile, maybe you could go check out theirs to see where they work. And if you're interested, maybe connect with them. So it just kind of understands like what type of activity is happening on your profile and who's engaging with your profile. With that being said, I also like think it's important too that within the settings you can kind of deem how people, like if people can, see who's viewed your profile and if they viewed your profile as well. I always say that it's always good to let people know that you viewed their profile too, because I think that especially if you're a job seeker or if you're trying to leverage certain connections, it's always good for people to know that you've done your research and tried to learn about them before you maybe reached out to them or before you connected with them on some certain topic. So I know that everyone, like the first thing is like, oh, I don't want people to know that I've been looking at them, but that's just one of the main purposes of LinkedIn. So if like no one's going to be surprised or be like, oh, why were they looking at my profile? Because that's just an aspect of the LinkedIn network. And people are always kind of looking at others to see what others are doing and understanding what other types of roles are and whatnot. So just a plug for that. If you want, if like good to have it known that you're looking at other profiles as well. The next is we're going to give those advanced job recommendations. So based off of what we see on your LinkedIn profile, we're going to recommend you to jobs where you are a top applicant. It will do a mixture of what we're seeing on your profile, and it'll also give you some insights into, hey, because we saw you view these jobs as well, we're going to give these recommendations too. And I think it's just important to understand that the way that we give these recommendations is we're taking a look at both information that you're giving us, but also actions that you're doing on the platform. And based off of those two different data points, we then will give these recommendations. So it's never just a random recommendation. It is something that's part of the LinkedIn algorithm and trying to be thoughtful to what we think you'd be interested based off of what you're indicating to us. And then another thing as well is that at the down here, you can see that you can update your profile and your career interests. So always good to do as well, where you could indicate what you're interested in. And this then also just helps recruiters who are looking for, to fill various roles to be aware that you're open to certain opportunities too. The next is competitive insights to help hone in on your search. So, a really good function of Premium is that you are going to kind of understand where you fall within that role based off of the other applicants who have applied. One caveat is it's not 100% perfect. Again, it's us trying to use an algorithm basing off of what others are who's applying and what's on their profile as well. But I think it's a really good guidance in regards to, hey, like how well do you match this job based off of what's on your LinkedIn profile and your past experience. These are some of the top skills among all other applicants too. And you're going to get these insights now with jobs that you look at. I think one thing to also take away from this as well is since you have these competitive insights now for the job, and if you're looking at a job and you're noticing like, okay, great, like project management is the top skill, and I actually don't have that yet on my profile, but I have that experience. Use this information as also kind of another inspiration of things that you can add to your LinkedIn profile if you have those skills as well. So I just always say, like, with the job postings, anytime if you're actually working on your own profile and updating it and you're stuck, take a look at the jobs that you're interested in, and that can give you some inspiration on what you should be putting on your profile and what skills you should be highlighting as well. And with that as well, if I go over to, sorry, this. And then down here, it's also going to show that you have different types of like what else is happening with the job. So what type of seniority level, what type of education, what else is like who else is applying to these types of roles. So it can kind of give you an idea of where you're trending and where you fall within the other applicants as well. And then it also, the last piece is that it will actually give you insight into what is happening with that company's employees. So you can see the hiring trend for that company over a certain time over the past 2 years. You can also see where they've hired people and also get some insight into some of the top skills at the company too. So again, it just gives insights into the job and then also insights into the company that you're looking at. And I think this is also interesting too, and one other plug as well is when you're looking at that job posting, it's also going to obviously be connected to the company that you're looking at. And I always encourage you to go check out that company's page. So any job posting is going to have a company page attached to it, and it will just help you also learn more about what's happening at the company and what's top of mind for the company as well. And then the next thing as well, and this actually kind of goes nicely into what I was just mentioning around the company page, is when you now go to a company's company page, it's a lot of companies in one sentence, it will actually give you insight into the different information around the employees, around new hires, hiring trends that we're seeing. So again, it's a really helpful thing for you to understand what's happening with that company as well and how they're hiring and what's currently going on within their company at the moment. And you get these insights now with the premium license. And I already covered and this covered here. The other thing too with that as well is that it's going to also show who the hires are, notable company alumni. The notable company alumni piece is usually going to be the leaders. So if it is a company that you're really interested in, also encourage you to check out and follow some of these leaders because they're going to be probably sharing some interesting thought leadership pieces and some interesting insights around the company, but also maybe just the industry as well that you're trying to break into or that you're already a part of. And then now the next piece is the salary insights. And I want to add a caveat here that in Europe, this is not widely scaled yet. This is very prominent within the States, but not all jobs in Europe yet are going to have this. And what this is trying to do is just kind of give an indicator of what salaries we see on average for these types of roles. And the way that we get this information is actually by members on LinkedIn inputting this information and sharing it with us on LinkedIn. It's been a much slower rollout within Europe. However, I know that there might be some insights into roles within Ireland. I know UK, for example, has a lot more information, but since we're in Ireland, that's not as relevant. But if you do see this on a job, what this is trying to just kind of show you is where the salaries lie for this type of role, and is just kind of a way for you to understand so that when you go into a conversation with a recruiter, what you should be asking for based off of what we're seeing of medians and total compensation. And then the next piece was the LinkedIn Learning. So you now have access to LinkedIn Learning, which is fantastic because it's all on-demand learnings that have a variety of topics. I mean, you could look at staying sharp on Excel to how to confidently present in a meeting. It's really well curated by our team, and we actually have in California, we actually have a whole studio dedicated to filming these different courses. So highly encourage you to leverage this. And the beauty of it is that it can be a course that you sign up for, or it could be like, hey, I'm hopping into an interview tomorrow and I just want maybe a 10-minute webinar and some interview prep tips. So again, I think this is a massive bonus of the premium license because it just unlocks so much learning opportunity and so much helpful content at your fingertips. And the way that you can access this is in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see that learning icon. And again, I'll show you when I hop into my own premium just to give more context. And this just kind of digs more into the LinkedIn Learning, so you can choose what types of skills you want to get more involved in. And again, this kind of ties back to the job postings. If you're noticing that you only have 4 out of the top skills and you want to work on business analysis, perfect. Go ahead and type in business analysis into LinkedIn Learning and see what skills pop up to help you hone in on those business analysis skills. And then this is an example of the learning paths that you can choose. And we gave some recommendations around some courses for job seekers. So you can go ahead and check that out as well once you get access to the premium. And this isn't relevant because we actually are going to give you the access. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm sure. And great, I saw a question, just a quick one that from Natalia is the 5 emails build up if they, yes, they do. So they build up if you don't use it. So it will continue adding 5. and it will stay in your premium until you go ahead and you send it out. Perfect. What I'll do is I'll start. So this is my own LinkedIn profile. So if I wanted to go ahead and see my premium features, what I would do is I would click over me, hit on premium features, and then this is where I'm able to understand all the different benefits that I have from being on LinkedIn Premium. So this is like who's viewed my profile, LinkedIn Learning. I can do unlimited browsing, so I can do searches with no limits. And you can like again company insights, so all the stuff that we went through, this is where you can kind of get like a quick like, okay, great, I want to go ahead and search a company right now. Perfect, let me go ahead and we'll check out LinkedIn because I work there. And what we'll do is, great, this is my LinkedIn, this is LinkedIn profiles. If I want to maybe learn a little bit more about LinkedIn, I'll go ahead and I'll scroll through, check out the about section. And then if I go over into the home area, this is where some of those premium insights are going to pop up. So here's the main page. If I scroll down a little bit, I'm going to see, okay, great, insights on LinkedIn. Let's see all premium insights for LinkedIn that I now have access to because I have LinkedIn Premium. And this is where you can get that information around total employee count, new hires, notable alumni, total job openings. So it just gives you some really good insights into what's happening at that specific company. And then if I hop over into back over here, let's just go into, let's see, for the jobs, what I'm going to do with the jobs is I'm actually going to go over into jobs, and here, and again, I've actually anonymized a lot, so this is showing up as random names. This is going to be actually job titles for you. But here, this is where I can see, oh, great, jobs where I'm a top applicant. Let's go ahead and check out these jobs. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and see, let's look at this job. Let's see how I match. And let's actually click out all the skills that that are associated with this job and if I have them. And oh wait, I actually don't have administrative assistance. And what's nice now is that you can actually go ahead and you can add that to your profile from the job posting. And then I could go ahead and add it to my principal customer success manager title. So again, it's a really great benefit because not only are we giving you recommendations, but we're also making it easy for you to update your profile if you do have that all just from that job posting. And then this is where you can see you compare. This is where you can look more about the company. So again, this is, I think, a really helpful factor because it will give you that insight into the job to just give you a little bit of a leg up when it comes to what you should be putting and also helping you understand where you fall compared to other applicants. And then with that too, what I've clicked over here is these little squares. So if I click here and then see learning, which you will all have access to with the premium, this is where you can then go ahead and pop into LinkedIn Learning. And I'll go to my personal account. And then this is where you can see all the educations you have. This is where you can see what types of learnings you're currently working on, top picks for you. So again, like it unlocks this massive library. I think it's like 13,000 courses right now that you will have access now with the LinkedIn Premium. So that, I know we have 5 minutes left. And I see that there's a few questions coming through. So the expiration date of the premium access, let me double check with that. I think it's a year, but Talita, I'll get back with you on the exact premium access and expiration date. So we'll discuss that and give more insight there. And you can have as many courses. So with LinkedIn Learning, you can watch as many courses as you want. There's no cap. And the invitation link will be valid. So we are going to give you a unique code specific to you. So it will be valid until you activate it. So just activate it, honestly, as soon as you get it. Ideally, like if you could do it within the first 2 weeks, that would be great, just because there could be an issue where by mistake that code gets shared again with someone else. But if there are any issues with your code, you can just let Talita know, and then we can sort it out. And the premium helps to find new jobs. So when I was kind of going through that job section, it's going to give you recommended jobs that we think you'd be interested in, based off of what you've put on your profile, and also based off of what you are doing when it comes to searches and looking for jobs on LinkedIn. Does it offer benefits to new businesses? I think the biggest thing for anyone in starting a new business is it gives you that ability to connect with and email message members that you might not have had access to before. And it also can give you insight into who are leaders within other businesses as well that you could potentially connect with. So more so from the business side, insight into those companies, and then the ability to connect with those leaders. And what are the advantages of expanding your network? The advantages is that the bigger your network, the more you can have, even more people you have to connect with when it comes to learning more about job opportunities or getting a certain introduction. So, for example, if I I know Talita, and if I was interested in potentially a role at Open Doors, I could maybe message Talita to see what Talita thinks and then maybe get connected with a recruiter. So having a lot of people in your network, obviously you want to connect with people that you know and people that you or know or people that you want to engage with. Don't just kind of send out a bunch of invites because that will kind of muddy up your network a little bit. But when you have thoughtful connections and connections in industries that you want to be a part of or that you're a part of or jobs that your companies that you're wanting to work at, it can help because it can allow for you to get some introductions, and it gives you the ability to message some of those people to learn more about where you're trying to go. And then one thing too, and just to highlight it, I know we have 2 minutes left. I'm going to hop back into my main LinkedIn. And one plug just for the jobs. So this is where everything's going on with your jobs. And this is where you can look for different jobs. So if I wanted to find a customer success manager role in Ireland, I would click here. It automatically populated Ireland. And then it gave me a list of different roles that I could be looking for. From there, you can also drill down further. So there's a bunch of filters that you can use to drill down to the types of roles that you're looking for. And if you like a role, for example, what you can do is you can save it, and then it will be a part of your saved jobs. So what that means is it will be like, okay, great. If I wanted to look at this job, I'm interested, I can go ahead and I can access it later. And then you can also set the alerts. So you can get an email when new jobs are added with these types of roles. So a lot of great kind of work that LinkedIn is doing for you behind the scenes. And then again, if you save that jobs, you can go over into my jobs and you'll see it pop up here. So I know we have 1 minute left, and I feel like that was just a lot of me talking for 30 minutes. But if there are any more questions, you can let Talita know, and we can make sure that we get those answered. But I think the next steps, and Talita, you can chime in too, just to remind of the next steps in regards to getting the license.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Ray said, if anyone has any questions, you have our email address and we can get back to you. So for everyone who attended today, you receive a link to activate your premium license. It might take a couple of days, so don't message me a bunch of times asking for it. It will happen. If you don't get it by early next week, then yes, feel free to nag me. And then if it doesn't work for any reason, just let us know and we'll fix it. Okay. So yeah, I think we're running out of time. Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you so much, Ray, for that great presentation. It was very useful. I've had premium for a year and I didn't know about half of those, so that was very good. So thanks everyone, and yeah, keep in touch.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good Friday.
Bye bye.